So I guess today is going to be another edition of, hey, you can't blame Dak for this one, except the Cowboys are. Micah Parsons, after the game, blamed Dak. The Cowboys' own social media account on Twitter blamed Dak. Dak now has the same number of playoff wins as Brock Purdy. The Rams, the Eagles, and the Niners, with two different quarterbacks, have gotten to NFC championships. Dak has a playoff win. I've said it for years. He's Kirk Cousins with a better brand. That's it. It's time to start drafting quarterbacks. When Brady was the GOAT in winning Super Bowls, the Patriots drafted 3 quarterbacks in the 3rd round and Jimmy Garoppolo in the 2nd. Dak doesn't have much of a market. Nobody'd want him for that price tag, but I'd make calls. I'd do the same with Kirk Cousins. They're the same guy. You watch Brock Purdy and Dak. Did you see a big gap? Neither has a special arm. Both are mobile, but not like uniquely mobile. I watched Dak face 2 rookie quarterbacks in the last 3 weeks, Sam Howell and Brock Purdy. Dak was the least effective of both, all 3. And I couldn't see the gap. Sam Howell actually looked more talented. He got drafted, I think, in a higher round than Dak. Brock Purdy didn't, but do you see the gap? You're paying the Ferrari price, and in big games, Dak is a Civic. All these years, we're waiting for a signature moment. God, we got one in Mahomes' 2nd game. You get great signature moments from the all-timers. Aaron's got them, Favre, Brady, Manning, Ben, and you don't have to wait very long to get them. How many years do I have to wait for one great moment? I looked this up this morning. A week ago, Geno Smith, who at one time was viewed as a bust, created 22 first downs against this Niner defense. Dak got 15. Geno Smith was 50% on 3rd downs. Dak was 5 of 15. Geno Smith averaged almost a yard more per completion. Geno Smith was more productive playing with rookies everywhere for Seattle and with a defensive coach. Mike McCarthy's not the issue here. Yeah, the last play was goofy, but he had a field goal kicker that, was in his head. Tony Pollard not available second half, and he doesn't have a single unit. He's got good players, but not a single great unit. The Cowboys secondary has a star corner, but they need to draft another one. They've got one linebacker I love, and that's about it. I mean, San Francisco's the better team, but Dak Prescott. Folks, we're waiting. I got Patrick Mahomes playing on a leg and winning. I have Joe Burrow with 3 backup offensive linemen on the road winning. I've got Jalen Hurts playing at about 75, 70, 80% in that ballpark and winning. Dak didn't have Tony Pollard for a half. Not good enough. Another clunker. And again, we're waiting for these signature moments. How long do we have to wait? Dak's a lot closer to Daniel Jones, I have to break it to you, and Kirk Cousins than he is to the better quarterbacks in this league. Did you see a gap? I'll just ask that. Him and Brock Purdy, where's the big gap? Neither a great arm, neither wildly mobile. I would argue Purdy, his decision-making, pretty good for a rookie. I mean, he's had some near picks. Dak had 2 and should have had a pick 6. But, Dak's good at the mic. Dak says the right stuff. Dak's intangibles are amazing. And after the loss, he's hard not to like.
Sucks that, as I said, I don't get another shot at it for a long time. But I know that when I wake up tomorrow, it'll be the first thing on my mind. And it will as I carry through in my training throughout this offseason as we get into the start of next season. It's about finding a way to get better, mastering everything that we can to make sure that we get over this hump, whatever it is, and give ourselves a chance at winning it all.
Really love Dak the guy. Don't even really like his big game performances. It's time to make calls. It's time to get on the phone. It's time. 2nd, 3rd pick in the draft. Maybe not the 1st. See what you got out there. But this isn't working. The Rams, the Eagles, the Niners, primary rivals with 2 different quarterbacks flawed rosters have gotten to the NFC Championship. Dallas has a playoff win. It's time. Our pleasure to have Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez, 10 years in the NFL. We were talking before we went on about Dak Prescott. He had never been a big interception guy. I would say that the O-line is sort of in a rebuild mode, so you don't quite get the protection.
Right.
You got to speed it up sometimes. But there's been some bad decisions. He almost had a pick six. So, my takeaway is with Dak, I feel kind of like I've always loved the intangibles more than the tangibles.
In some ways, I see why people...
Your takeaway on, like, his second interception. What did you...
He's won a lot of football games, bottom line. I think there's still plenty of left in the tank for somebody like Dak. I think he's more than capable of taking this team deeper in the playoffs, getting to a Super Bowl. I think their formula this year, and some guys throw more picks than others in general. Some guys throw more picks in a season than other seasons, and it happens that way. I think the benefit for them earlier in the season is Dan Quinn and that defense got the ball back, right? And it erased their turnovers. While their margin wasn't perfect, the turnover margin, giveaways as opposed to takeaways, at least it, negated it to some sense, right?
Right.
In this game, they give away 2. They have dropped interceptions. They have other opportunities to get interceptions or fumbles or whatever. Doesn't work out. And when it doesn't work out and you go down 0-2 in a playoff game on the road, it's like, boom, those just come back to bite you. I think, Dalton Schultz and like being nonchalant there at the end of the game, those kind of things have to be solid. I know everybody's talking about the last play, but at that point, it's like the freaking, you turn into the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right.
It's pitchy, woo-woo, pitch the ball, woo-woo, I'm open. Nobody knows what's going on. Those are 1 in a million at best. So I thought that second interception, though, when things get tight, you got an option route over the middle, CeeDee Lamb's number 3 matched up on a linebacker. You get the matchup you want, but they get zoned out. So it's not one-on-one completely, right? Now, he's got 3 options. He can go up, sit down. If Fred Warner blows out of there and leaves it open, he can slam on the brakes. If Fred Warner's close to him and he can stutter him, stair-step him over the ball, he runs out the back door and continues going. This time he takes the third option, which is slam on the brakes, run away from Fred, back the way you came. You pivot and go back. Well, when you do that, most importantly, number 1, it's the third most likely option. So the least likely of the 3 options that he takes, you get less time on task with that. You get less reps at that. I don't care who it is. Your eyes have to immediately go back in front of where the guy is now going. Because usually if you're a right-hander, you can see him stop and you can kind of see in your peripheral, right. Okay, where's he going? Where's he going? I kind of see in front. Oh, there's color in front. I got to go. Got to move somewhere else. When it's back the other way, you're closed off and you can't totally see it. So you have to retrain your eyes to get back out in front. And he completely missed Jimmy Ward and he made him pay. He's the one who had the pick and then tips it to Fred. So it was just one of those plays like in a condensed environment, down in tight, you got to be nails on all of those heightened situations, playoffs, on the road, divisional. I mean, everything's getting tight. You got to just sink to the level of your training, your fundamentals. Then, later in the game, I thought they had a chance to potentially go for it. Remember, he scrambles on 4th down, gets the first down. They didn't kick it, even though Maher definitely has a 53-yard club in his bag. But they're so scared because the field goal got blocked, plus last week's disaster on field goal team. It's like all these different factors lead up to this play. Tony Pollard had just gotten hurt. Like it was a calamity of errors that really led to the loss. And credit San Francisco. It's not like they were just lucking into some of these plays. Some of it was on Dallas, but some of it was San Francisco just playing sound and staying in their zone and not chasing the cheese of guys running away from you and standing where you're supposed to be, reading the quarterback's eyes in zone. And they follow his eyes, like a moth to a light. They just kind of zoom in there and get there. And so they beat him.
What worries you about Brock Purdy in Philadelphia?
I think one of the biggest things, like this was probably his worst game by far. I think in between the numbers, he's nails. He has the juice to hit those close ones, and he gets bailed out by Kittle, a ball almost off, there's 20 other tight ends in the league that drop that ball or don't get a fingertip on it to get it back to themselves. Or the guy hits him before he finally completes the catch, whatever. I think that's a big one going on the road, but really the play before halftime. And Shanahan, he's a young kid, right? So you don't want to just wear him out.
Right.
And Shanahan had to do everything in his power to put his play call sheet like this. And I guarantee you, if he was mic'd up, he would have a lot of bleeps in there.
Right.
Because
they
had 5 seconds left, right? And you kind of lose your bearings, almost like, you're scuba diving and you can't tell which way's up. You just kind of lose it for a second. And that's why in those moments, I don't care if you're Tom Brady 20-plus years in or Brock Purdy less than 10 games in as a starter, 7 or whatever it is, you got to have somebody reminding you in the headset, whether it's play caller, quarterback coach, whatever, the situation. Hey, dude, you're going 1-2. We have 5 seconds left. We got to kick a field goal here. This ball's getting airmailed to the 7th row if it ain't open right away. And when I say open, it's like open. Somebody fell down. Somebody screwed up. Nobody's close. We can't let this thing go the other way, and we definitely don't want to run out the time. He got lucky. That's like a huge, critical situation. Those are 3 points. If they don't get those, that's a tighter ball game towards the end.
By the way, I'm not sure they get him on the road. The clock guy was very...
100%, because somebody tipped the ball on the sidelines.
Yeah.
That might have helped him, because I guarantee you they stopped the clock when the random guy was standing there, was like a trainer or something, caught the ball, because usually you have to wait till the ball hits the ground. I thought Olsen did a good job of explaining that. The ball has to hit the ground. It's not when it crosses the out-of-bounds line. Nobody's like, it's not like tennis, like you're kind of looking down the line.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. It's got to hit it. And, dude, he locked up. But you saw Shanahan?
Oh, yeah.
When the thing goes over like this and they're not giving a play, they are ripping somebody. So he probably tore into him a little bit.
The comp on Burrow of Brady, there is Joe is so situationally good. Dad was a coach, could help.
Yeah.
But, and listen, Allen is hyper-athletic and gifted. But when you watch Joe, somebody told me this years ago, when it looks easy, that's great. Because none of this stuff is easy.
No,
that first drive of the game, it was pitching.
He's part cyborg or something. He's eerily similar to Tom in those kind of situations where you're just so calm and you have the lowest and steadiest heartbeat of anybody, and you're just easy, and you're seeing it before it happens. And gosh, he just looks on the run, to his left, in the snow. I mean, It's everything that you want to see. He just keeps checking boxes. And he said it, I want to say like a month ago or whatever. He goes, I might not be the best at anything. He goes, but I'm top 1, 2, or 3 in everything. You know what I mean? Like, he can do it all. And so my only concern for these guys moving forward.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Is they did it last week with patchwork O-line because a lot of guys are banged up.
Yeah.
Karras, I mean, that dude's tough as nails. Wow. For sticking that game out, playing on an injured knee, in the cold like that, being a big guy like that, having to move other big men around, that is tough work. So kudos to that guy. But this week they're doing it against
Chris Jones.
and Frank Clark.
It's a totally different.
Chris Jones is
probably the best.
Him and Aaron Donald. Maybe Simmons. So, there you go, Quinnen Williams. Simmons from Tennessee. Like those four are like, dude, that guy will ruin your Sunday. That guy will knock you out of the playoffs. So
now it's an interior rush against.
Oh, no doubt. And this interior rush is going to be one of the best they've faced in a while. It's like, are we going to be able to keep Burrow upright and not just getting the ball off, but like trying to keep him off the ground? Let's just keep his jersey clean a little bit. I think the first few games of the year, he had so many hits. And in like a calendar year, the numbers were astronomical. And then they ran Carolina out of the building with Joe Mixon, and he went off, and they finally started running the ball a little more. But they're going to need him this week to neutralize that pass rush. You're going to see some of the tight end screens, the running back screens to neutralize that pass rush, just to keep them off balance. And I think that's going to be huge for the coordinator and for Joe, just to stay in rhythm so they don't end up chasing something here and having to completely abandon what they wanted to do. In this game against the Bills, they controlled it all from the jump, got out to a lead, and then kept the top on it on defense.
By the way,
said, go ahead, hit some long foul balls up the sideline. Go ahead, take your shots down the field. Great. We'll just let them fall incomplete. Like they were nails.
Other thing is the edge rusher in snow doesn't get great footing.
There's not. Yeah, it's hard. The speed and everything off the edge. You're trying to round, second base all the time. Your legs are you can't really stretch out and strain and stress, and then because you look like Bambi on ice, you just get slid out. So
all right.
Hard.
What worries you? Mahomes has a high ankle sprain. You told us during the break you haven't had one.
Yeah.
They linger, and they're supposed to be incredibly painful. Do you worry about Because so much of him isn't, it's extension of play.
Exactly right. I mean, when you look at the play concepts, if you were to just chart them on like an old school West Coast charting base, it's drives and all-go specials and, X-shell crosses and Winston, like all the old school plays, they run them 3-4 times a game. They have a couple little wrinkles. When they had Tyreek, they throw guys on, throwback flood and stutter them to the post. And they would do some of these plays where you're like, ooh, that looks like this, but wow, what a great wrinkle, whatever. Well, they have all those, but if it's not open right away or it's not the right look, Mahomes just has this innate ability to just play street ball and get into these scramble drills, which they practice all the time, and he extends the play without running all over the yard. He just has to buy a little time, let a guy free up a little bit, break off his route, and boom, reveal themselves to the quarterback. And if he doesn't have that ability, one, he's going to get less reps during the week because I guarantee, yesterday, today, tomorrow, he's not going to be doing much. I would be shocked if he's out there really moving around. It's later in the week where they'll probably ramp him up because they want to rest it, get the swelling out, and then it's, tape them up, shoot them up, and figure out how to get on the field and then see how effective you can be. But that is concerning to me if it's only as it's drawn up and it's 1 through 5 quickly in your progression and nothing extended, that really lends to the Bengals defense.
So Jalen Hurts was not 100%. I love his story. I love doubted in college, doubted in the pros. He also illustrates Aaron Rodgers, some of this, that you can get better once you're in this league.
Oh, for sure.
Mark, a lot of us think college, pro, that's what you are.
Right.
Aaron's arm strength over 3 years behind Favre got better.
Oh, 100%.
Jalen is a better distributor of the football today.
He really is, and he's seeing it much better. He's becoming a better pocket passer. My only fear with him is that shoulder. Like, you get one of these big D linemen, and they land on him a couple times. Bosa, they get enough pressure. Yeah, Bosa, Armstead, any of those guys. And he lands on it. Like, I hope he's doing a little of that jiu-jitsu stuff where they teach you how to fall and use the momentum and not fall on your throwing shoulder, because that's like their worst nightmare. If he stays healthy, this is almost a runaway train. This is tough to stop. But this is one of the best matchups I can think of in a while for like an NFC championship. This is going to be a slugfest because they both have that mentality. Obviously, Philly.
It'll be the most physical football game of the year.
No doubt. Like, these guys are going to be sore for 2 weeks after this thing. Like, it was.
Well, you played for a team that had that component.
Well, no doubt. And it's they've kind of built a bully in Philly, and nobody wants to go mess with that. Now, if anybody's up for it, it's San Francisco because of the way they play. They play a similar brand of football. So, my only thing is just keep Hurts upright again. Keep him off that shoulder. Don't let him land on it, and don't let those big guys fall on him. Keep that run game going. But they were tough. I mean, Gainwell and Sanders had 200-plus rushing yards between them.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing. Hurts didn't go crazy in the run game last week or the other day. He had, 30-plus yards or something? So it wasn't like, if anything, they were smart with him. They didn't force him to keep the ball a ton. And they got out to a huge lead, gave him a little break, so that's a little more time for the shoulder to heal. But that's really my only concern because he's playing lights out.
Yeah. I don't even need a Daniel Jones question. I want to go back. I'm not taking a shot, but there's no reason to bang on the kid. What do you? It is what it is.
Oh, he's going to be fine.
I don't know.
I disagree on that. Him and Barkley will be fine. They're going to tag one, pay the other potentially. I think they'll be all right.
All right.
He played great. He played great this year for that roster.
If you take
for
out
those receivers,
if you take out the Viking games, he had 14 touchdown passes. That's like half the league.
Who do you want him to throw him to?
Well, again,
I'll be an owl. Who are we going to throw to?
Okay, but nobody. Okay, I'll give you an example. So Justin Herbert came into the league with a coach that got fired and an atrocious offensive line.
He also had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and he ran around and threw some ridiculous throws.
Well, that's because he's a huge talent.
Okay, but he had guys streaking down the field that were,
by the way,
elite players, top 15 receivers.
Okay, but again, Mike Williams, you'd have to go back, Keenan Allen, they missed starts. Those guys missed starts. And he, by the way, got tapped on the shoulder a minute before playing Mahomes, and you're like, first game as a pro, I got 4 years of 15 touchdown passes.
Okay, but top to bottom, the roster that Daniel Jones has played with compared to the roster that Herbert's played with aren't even close.
Well, what about,
not even close.
What about Burrow? Super Bowl last year with an atrocious O-line. Bad linebackers. Bad
but the
corners.
roster across the... What do you mean bad linebackers, bad corners? They got the same guys this year.
And I don't like their corners this year.
And they just throttled the Bills.
Well, I love the offensive game plan.
Hold on. 20-second. Could be a full. I need time here.
Okay. I want to go back to... I think what's a fascinating story. There's 4 quarterbacks left in football. 3 are exceptional. Brock Purdy is a gamer. Mm-hmm. I do think he's kind of twitchy. I think he moves faster than you kind of think.
He really is faster in real life. Yeah,
yeah, he's twitchy.
Not a 40 guy, but he's a game
moves.
guy.
Yeah, he is twitchy. J-Mac talked about this. They had a pretty conservative game plan yesterday, which I thought was smart. Like, this is a real defense. Okay, now it's a better defense. It's on the road. You're going to have everything's silent at the line. Mm-hmm. Again, you're the coach. Your feeling, J-Mac, is they're going to have to do something. You can't go in with a conservative game plan and win here. This is
they'll have some shots built in.
You have to.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's based on how that first quarter goes, based on how your first 15 kind of plays goes. And Shanahan's got a ton of experience this way, feeling out a game plan. But they're also going to be, shots don't have to mean the ball literally travels 50 yards in the air. A shot can be the tight end screen or a reverse or some sort of double pass or something that generates some offense without making Purdy, go deep play action, 7-step drop, 2 hitch, and chuck a ball 50 yards. He might not have to do that. You can figure out ways to manufacture big plays. And it could be a third down or a short yardage kind of screen that catches them. And so if anybody's ready for that, it's somebody like Kyle Shanahan who's done it forever. So I think most importantly, he's going to put them in good spots, and then they'll have, 5 to 7 calls that are, hey, dude, this is one of them. When we get this look and I dial it right and we hit, you got to hit this one. Like there's no...
That's what you practice all
Chuck it over the guy's head and make him go run under it. You know what I mean? There's no way we're missing these ones. And it's for a specific look. If it ain't this look, you check it down or fall down or throw it in the stands. I don't care, but we're not going to lose on these plays. We just might have a big splash play if we can nail them, and I can time it up perfectly with their defense. And they'll have at least a handful, maybe 3 plays where that's going to happen. And, I mean, it'll be Shanahan like this on the sideline. Oh, boy, here we go. And either, heck yes or heck no.
And you kind of know by Thursday at practice.
Oh, yeah.
These are going to be the 3 looks.
Yeah, they'll be, all right, this is the look, and this is the play, and here we go. We either get it or we don't. And here's our indicator with the motion, with the way we line up. We're going to put Kittle and McCaffrey next to each other, shift them over to the other side, see who runs with them. If this guy runs with them and this guy runs with them, great. We're in. Keep it on. If not, check out of it because it's Slay right there, and we don't want that. Boom, let's go the other way. So
you know what I'm really interested in? Lane Johnson, if you guys watch Saturday.
He's the best, too. I love Lane.
He comes on the show. He's great.
Man.
But he was not 100%.
No.
You could see. And my thing is, what's so ironic about this league, these are the 2 most physical teams, Philadelphia Niners. Through various parts of the season, they've been all dinged up. Mm-hmm. Now, the Niners, the only thing the Niners have is a third quarterback because of injuries, and Jalen Hurts isn't healthy. All these combatants are healthy. It's the quarterback situation.
After a game like that, totally hijacking the show. But if Garoppolo's healthy...
What do you mean if Garoppolo's healthy?
If Garoppolo was healthy...
And you win 100%. The game?
Yeah, I'm saying last week, after the game we saw from Brock, he was solid. He was solid. Wasn't amazing. Couple plays there he'd probably want back, whatever situations. Do you put Garoppolo back in?
For this game?
For this game.
No.
If he was healthy.
No.
No way?
Do you?
I don't know.
I don't think so. You know why? One of it is I think Brock's mobility is this week. You don't want to just sit in the pocket with this Eagles line.
Yeah.
I think that it helps. Here's the question.
An interesting one, though.
What if it's 14-3 at half, you're trailing.
And Jimmy's ready. And
Brock is struggling.
And he's thrown 3 picks already or something?
Then I would give Brock a series. If not, then I go to Jimmy.
That one you might have to.
What if Brock plays poorly, they get to a Super Bowl?
Oh, God, and they win? Yeah.
But, I mean, there are scenarios where...
Yeah. If he went out there and...
I would really lean Purdy. I'd go into a game...
It's hard to take out the hot hand. It really is.
Also...
And Jimmy would have to be, like, healthy.
And great quarterbacks have bad halves. Yeah. It's okay.
Oof.
Good stuff today, Sanchez.
That was fun.
You brought your A game. I'll give you a mulligan on the Daniel Jones opinion.
Oh, get out of here.
Mark Sanchez. You and Olsen have been really a good addition. Boy, Greg did a great job yesterday.
That was fun.
He's a gamer. We loved having you.